to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy. I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. And today, I'd like to talk to you about another film that I know that is seriously underrated. And I'm going to tell you, as part of a trilogy, that I believe is still in a work in progress. I don't think they know what to do with it. And this film came out 5 years ago. Wow. 5 years ago is a long time. Stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, John Goodman, and then whoever that guy is from Hush, the horror movie, 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's a story that's part of the Cloverfield universe, which tells a story of a woman who's could be held captive. You don't really actually know for sure, and she is told the world has basically ended. However, as the film goes along, she kind of starts to have doubts about the guy who brought her in from whatever event that happened. He brings him in this bunker, and he may not be telling the truth as to exactly what happened, and the guy is a little bit weird. So she starts to question what's fact and fiction. Now, when the movie came out, when it was advertised, I thought the film had some pretty good advertisement. The film didn't tell you really much about anything what goes on in the film, except that you center on the story of these people trapped in some sort of small location, and it is one of those one location kind of like films. So that's just a given. It's one of those kind of films, and it's one of those kind of films where you think something seems kind of normal, but as the film goes along, it's not. And Mary Elizabeth, she does a pretty good job in this film. I think she's a very underrated actress. I think she should get a lot more credit than what she's been given. She's pretty good. And her character's name is Michelle, who's basically run away from a relationship that's potentially failing. It doesn't go specific into it, but you know that her character basically runaways from issues that gets too difficult. She avoids, I guess you could say, conflict, and it's told visually through this. I thought it was a pretty good sequence of her leaving a potential relationship and basically driving away, and it tells you kind of almost everything about her character. Somewhat of a cowardly way, about her character. Then the movie quickly snaps into the bunker thriller that the film kind of sells you on, which it's implied that is set in the Cloverfield universe. And it is. And it's a movie that's kind of on its own, so you don't really need to watch the previous film to kind of know what's going on here, because there's really no tie-ins except for like small details, unless you really pay attention or you pause certain moments in the film. They kind of just tell you like they're mostly just Easter eggs, but this film is fine on its own. John Goodman delivers one of the best acting performances I've seen from him. Actually, maybe even from ever. The guy, when you first see his character, his character's name is Howard. When you see him, you can see that the guy is actually kind of off a bit. Like, he's very paranoid. His character is built as a huge conspiracy theorist, so he's very off the wall. But he explains the situation to you as if he's like he's a known expert kind of guy. Like, he knows what he's talking about. He knows all the theories. He knows what's going on. He even, I guess, potentially worked his character. His character mentions he worked in satellites before, and really, there's a bigger picture for what his character does in the Cloverfield universe. But the way he betrays it can be very unsettling. And I actually like the tagline of this film where monsters come in many forms. That kind of sells you that he's kind of, spoiler, he's kind of the antagonist in this film. Where you kind of don't know what to believe with this guy Michelle's, um, until Michelle kind of figures her out herself. She kind of goes against Howard's instructions and takes the risk of potentially, possibly maybe even getting killed or not trusting Howard or losing Howard's trust to find out what's actually happening. And actually, there is some truth behind what Howard is talking about. And and then I actually like it that as the movie goes along, after you kind of start doubting Howard's what he tells you, there's certain moments in the film where it reveals certain things and you kind of start to believe him, but the character is still kind of crazy. And you're kind of in this kind of, I guess, tug of war. Even though the guy's a little bit crazy, he's kind of believable what he's talking about. So do you kind of are you on his side or are you on Elizabeth's side? So the more she kind of like figures certain things out about him, the more you, I think, as the audience, you kind of don't trust the guy anymore. But then it flips it back where it still reveals certain things happening in the bigger world, which doesn't reveal until the end. And there's a big twist at the end where it kind of, I like that the film kind of plays you with your mind a bit, who to believe in and who you don't believe. I love that. That's like the best part about this film, that you really don't know if this guy is actually telling the truth or not. You don't know how to trust him. The guy is scary. Actually, there's a few anger outbursts that he delivers in this film, and it is phenomenal. I was actually on the edge of my seat for quite a bit of this movie. This movie doesn't stop. The intensity builds more and more and more and more as the film goes along, and that's rare to capture something like that. And I think it's actually this director, Dan Trachtenberg, I think this is his first feature film, and he did a great job with this movie. Out of all the 3 Cloverfield films, this is, to me, the best one so far, and it doesn't really tie into the first film. Though, there is the twist ending to it. And it really kind of just tells you it doesn't seem like it connects to the Cloverfield film at all. Really, that's not even the part that was agitating about the film, really. The film is awesome on its own. So, but if you try to, I guess, pick certain like details or certain little bits about the movie to try to figure out how it's connected to the original film, I say don't bother. Just enjoy it as its own movie, and just enjoy it as its own movie. And honestly, I don't want to even spoil the reveal towards the end of the film. Because I just thought it really sold you. It sold me as well. Like this movie is a good bottle thriller, and it does escalate into like a science fiction film in the third act. That's all I'm going to say. This film was great. This is a good time to watch. You can actually watch it for free at the YouTube free movies on YouTube, and this is a phenomenal flick. Like I can't like the stand up to me is John Goodman. He sells you on this. Actually, I'm surprised he wasn't even nominated for an Oscar for supporting actor. This dude was literally terrifying in this film. So please check it out. Let me know in the comment section below. This movie needs to be talked about more. Please reach out. Let me know if you've seen it, and let me know what's your favorite underrated movie.